Hello everyone. So I put out a video earlier today and it's labeled Microsoft Office 365 Word. It'll talk about tabs, button, ribbons, and toolbars. It's a breakdown, and I provided a PDF of this so you can print it out on a laser printer. So I explained that I would create another one explaining how to bring up some of your ribbons that you won't have on yours by default. In particular, your quick access toolbar, you'll have the basics, and the basics will normally just have this by standard, by default, it'll have save, undo, redo, and screenshot. But if you notice on mine, which is this right here, I have a bunch of them, and I'm going to explain to you how to put them and explain a little bit about it. Additionally, we talked about your rulers. Well, I'm going to further break down the rulers, and so I will start with that first. Okay, so if you first of all, you have your margins, right? So these are your margins on on your ruler, and that you set the margins on your page setup. So now so your ruler this is what the ruler will look like right here. This is the area of the ruler, but inside this ruler you're gonna have tabs that I actually don't have here, and I'll explain that in a few minutes, how to add tabs. But you also have this little thing right here in this corner. Here, let me deselect all of this and turn on this thing I created for y'all. So right here on this corner, which is right here, you'll have this thing that looks like this. Okay, so these are pentagons. You have an upper, a bottom, and then you have a little square underneath there, right? So the top one here is called your first line indent. The second one is your left indent, and then you have your hanging indent. And so whenever you have a document, you will have a so when you click here, if you hover around like that pentagon right there, you see how that text came up, first line indent, and then you hover on the second one, left indent, and if you go down just a hair, you'll see the left indent. So if you can remember what these things are called or what they are, so also on the right hand side you're going to have your right indent. And what those things do, well, one thing that I do want to tell you, by default, on your document, you're probably not going to have rulers. This is probably how yours is going to look if you've never added your rulers, because this is by default. So what you have to do is you go to View and then you click on Rulers. Remember, we're using Office 365. So it's similar in the other versions, I think up to 2013 or something like that, but this is the version that I have. So you would turn on your views. So this pentagons right here is going to allow you to do different tabs or indentions, not tabs. Your tabs would actually look like this. If you click here, and let's say if I hit tab here, let me select this, and add a tab. Well, because this is a format, it's not going to let me do that, right? So here, let me create a new document. Let me put equal random words. Let's just put 5 paragraph with 6 sentences and hit enter. Okay, so if I went in here and click here and added a tab, if I would click here, it'll tab to that. Those are your tabs, and you can change those tabs by double clicking here, and you see, or not double clicking, you just click and it's gonna give you different kinds. Like this is called a bar tab. You click again and now it's going into your pentagons. Okay, so right here, if you click, it says left tab. If you click again, it's gonna give you your center tabs. You click again and it's gonna give you your right tab. You click one more time, this time it's gonna give you your decimal tabs. Okay, and now I'll have a video about tabs in a so I don't want to go into it too much, but I will show you real quick. If you click here and then let's say if I'm here and I hit a tab and then I put let's say 45.25, let's put a $sign here, and then I hit a return and I hit another return, but here I want to tab to that tab. Well, here actually let me see if that tab is there. So let's go in here and type $sign 65.25. Let me see if it took that tab. It didn't. But what it normally will do is it will align itself accordingly to the decimal, the dollar, the point. But you can also put right tabs, left tabs. Like I said, I'll explain all the tabs later. But I just wanted to show you what these pentagons do. So let's say that I'm here on this sentence, and I want to tab everything except the first sentence. Let's say half an inch to the right. I can left click this, and right now you see how everything is moving, right? So if I left click and drag the first one to the back, you see this is my first line, so it's not going to tabulate it because I told it not to. And so then you have your indent here. Equally on the right hand side, you see how it stops right here. If I want to move this tabs over, you see how all the text is going to the right and left. Now if you wanted to use mathematical numbers, so instead of moving back and forth, let's say you can double click here and you see right here your right indent. Let's say you tell it 1 inch, you hit OK, and so that's your right indent. It went 1 inch. Now let's go and change it, let's say 0.5, and you'll see it go back to the right hand side. Equally on the left hand side, if your left indent, let's say you want, watch this right here, I'm going to add 1 inch. Hit OK. You see how everything moved over 1 inch. So you can do it that way. But I just wanted to go over that a little bit, and I'll have a video that further explains how to do the things like that. So that's what that does, right? Okay, now so if you look, let me hide everything. So your margins, so here's your margins, right? Your margins can be set in a couple of locations. So when I type my text would start here and here because of the margins, right? So now you can go under layout, go to your margins and set your margins here, right? So let me create a document and show you from here to here. Right now, if you go to your layout, you go to your margins. Right now, it's set to 1 inch. 1 inch at the top, 1 inch at the bottom, 1 inch at the left, and so this is your margins right here, right? So let me show you something. So you go to layout, you got the margins, and I'm going to do a very narrow margin. I'm going to tell it 0.25 so you can see the difference. 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, tab 0.2, oops, 25, hit OK. Now look how small my margins are. So if I went in a random, let's say 50 lines, 3 paragraphs per line, hit enter, and you see when you I inserted this text for you so you can see when you change your margins what it does here. And I'm going to justify this so everything is even on the right hand side. Oops. Control J for justify. There you go. You see how everything is even on the right hand side now. That way you can see. So I'll show you one more time on how to change it using your margins here, right? So we're going to add 1 inch this time. Now you see all the space around the text. Another way you can do this is, let's say you can just move this things over. If you're not, you're not really wanting exact measurements mathematically, you can like move it. Like for instance, let's say that you had a picture, and that picture, let's say you inserted a picture, and that picture was sitting right here, and you wanted to move all your text to align with that. All you would have to do is, well, you would have to select all the text and go right here, and now everything would be aligned to that text. So you can do it manually. Okay. I don't want to save this because I'm going to show you some other stuff with that document. So we talked about your margins, and so this is what the ruler looks like. These are the actual ruler, okay? So in your document, what you see right here is your ruler. So let's go and open up a document. Let me see. I got a bunch of windows, so there we go. So you can see the ruler right here without. So now watch this. I'm going to go in here and show you something. So if you have a document and you highlight this area up here, like if you click on insert, actually it's staying. We're okay. Never mind. Sometimes some of your tabs will close, but I have mine set where no matter if I'm selecting here or here, it appears. You can hide it if you want. Okay, so now let's talk about that ribbon. By default, I showed you that you're only gonna have this 4. If you want to add some, this is what you're going to have to do. like I have a bunch of them. These things do a lot of things for me. Okay, so if you want to add additional items, what you would do is you would click here, and then you would go to more commands, because these things do certain commands for you, right? For instance, if I want to see, let me see if I have a document with a bunch of text, a bunch of pages. Okay, here we go. So let's say here, instead of going through all my pull downs, I can put a command where right now you see how I'm seeing one page at a time, right? Let's say I want to see it two pages side by side. I can do that. Each one of these things will do something different for me. Okay, for instance, right in here, you know, if I was in my home page, I would be able to turn off this thing called show hide, and I use it a lot. And what it does, it shows me where there's a return, where there is a space, where there is a tabulation. By clicking here, and also if there's a double return or if there's a single return, this thing helps a lot. So, but if I was here, I wouldn't be able to turn that off and on, right? So what I did was I created a command where I don't have to go home, go and click here, right? I could be anywhere and hit that that button right here. Look, you see, I can turn it off and on. If you look right in here, I turned it off and on. Or, you know, let's say that I wanted the Microsoft Word to speak for me, right? You know, you can go through a bunch of commands to go do this for you, or you can create a quick command and all you would have to do is just click here.
When you apply styles, your headings change to match the new theme.
Okay.
Save time in Word with new buttons that show up.
So these buttons are very, very cool, and there's hundreds and hundreds of buttons that you can use. Everything you see here, you can turn it, I think almost everything you see here, you can turn it into a button and have them up here. So, same thing with spelling, you know. Let's say you want to spell a spell check. Look, all I have to do is click on this button here, and then see it's doing my spelling instead of, you know, going in through all my tabs to get to there. I did it with one command. So let me show you how to add those. So if you click here, you go to more commands, and if you, these are your popular commands, but if you click here, you can go to all commands and you can add all of these commands. What you would do is, let's say, let me see if there's one here that I like. I don't use this because I use commands, but I want to put right alignment. If you look right here, you're going to see. So first I'm going to click here, I'm going to add it to this thing. I'm going to hit add, right? And in a minute you're going to see another icon show up here. And it'll look just like that icon. So I'm going to hit OK. You see that? Now, so if I click here, and you know, I always use Control R, right? But if you're not good at commands, all you would have to do is click here. For some reason, it's not. I see it there, but I don't want to get hung up on that. But that's how you add it. And I don't use that one anyway, because like I said, if I want to right justify, this, you know, I would hit Control R. If I wanted to center it, I hit Control E. If I want to left justify, I hit Control L. So I wouldn't need that. I'm just showing you how you can add things. Or let's say you wanted to add a photo. You don't want to go through all those steps. You can just click here and go to my device and add a photo. Or, or you can add to your stock images. Instead, like I said, instead of going, insert, picture, stock image, you can add one command. Now, there's another thing that you don't have on yours, and it's called the developer. This developer, let me close this because I've made some changes and I don't want to save this because I have another lesson that I'm going to be doing in the next, maybe even today. But what developer does, your developer gives you all these functions, and I will show you briefly what some of them are. Without this, you wouldn't be able to put in, and let's go all the way to the bottom here. Actually, let me close this. I don't want to mess with that one. So I want to create a new document. Oops, Control N, and it went into another window. Okay, so with this developer tab, I could go in here and add these things, which are like this one's called a date picker, and I could go in here and put today's date, and it would automatically do that. And but there's a bunch of different kind that you can use. In addition, with the developer, you can make macros and things that you normally wouldn't be able to do. Okay, and in addition, let's say you want to, let's say you had this pull downs, which are called the combo control contents button. You could add them, and there's a lot to that too. So I have a special video for this. But without this developer, you wouldn't be able to use this. So let me show you how to add this to your Word document. And all you have to do it is once. So if you go into here, you go to more commands, you go to let me see, custom ribbon. You see right here, look, I'm going to turn all those off. Yours is probably going to look like this. Here, let me, I don't want to turn them off. Okay, it's not there no more. You see how it's gone. This is how yours is going to look like. So what you have to do is you have to click here, go to more commands, go to your custom ribbon, and turn on your developer. And you click on it, it puts a check mark, you hit OK, and all of a sudden now you have your developer. Okay guys, so let me look at my I think I've gone through almost everything I wanted to go over. Let me double check that little document that I had. I've got it here on this page here. Let me see here. Give me a second here. You got your tabs, rulers, your quick bars. Yeah, that's there's a lot more to. I think I showed you, but another thing I've got to make sure, just in case, you do have to go to your view and rulers to show them, and click here. I think I've gone over that, but I just wanted to double check. Thank you for watching my video, and remember, if you want an explanation of all of these things, which are all your tabs. I have another video that shows that. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this, give me a thumbs up. And if you become a subscriber, there's a lot of things I can show you on a bunch of different programs. Again, thank you for watching my video.